There are three crystal clear signs that have been proven time and time again to predict a major heart attack. Even if your cholesterol numbers are perfect, you're in peak physical condition, and you've never smoked a cigarette in your life. But almost nobody in the mainstream is telling you about them. So in this short presentation, I'm going to change that. I'll pull back the curtain and show you exactly what these three signs are. And I'll tell you the disturbing reason why you haven't heard of them. Then I'll give you a deceptively simple 3-step program for completely restoring your heart health, proven to quickly lower blood pressure, eliminate the piles of medication you may already be taking, and keep your heart in tip-top shape for the rest of your days. This simple heart protection solution means you'll no longer have to live in constant fear of being struck down by the big one. Even if you've already experienced serious cardiac problems, or your doctor has been giving you a drumbeat of ominous warnings. This incredibly easy program will provide you total peace of mind, no matter how bad your family history looks. Here's what this is all about. My name is Dr. Dan Pilgreen. Over the last 30 years, I've helped thousands and thousands of patients in my practice. Many like Frank Tomich of Palisades, California, a man suffering from serious heart trouble. You see, a few years ago, Frank got a coronary artery scan that showed a 70% blockage. The doctor misread the chart, and Frank was accidentally sent home. 18 months later, the panicked MD realized the mistake and called up Frank. He said, "Get to the hospital immediately. You're a walking heart attack." But Frank had taken action that the doctor didn't count on. When he got to the hospital, they tested him again. Against all odds, his blockage had shrunk down to 40%, and it was dropping quickly. He didn't need drugs, surgery, or stents to save his life. Nope. Frank rejuvenated his heart 100% naturally. And that is why this is so important to you. Frank isn't a 1-in-a-million miracle, not at all. He just got his hands on an unconventional heart rejuvenation program that changed everything. This is the same critical program I now want to give you. It's perfect for you if you have a tragic family history of heart problems and you want straightforward answers you can trust about your real risk of having a heart attack, and natural ways to dramatically improve your odds. If you've had it with feeling sick and tired and worrying about your high cholesterol and skyrocketing blood pressure levels, here's a quick and easy way to eliminate the regimen of pills you may be on, while boosting your energy levels so you can get back to the active lifestyle you remember. If you're just plain nervous about a spouse or loved one who's not paying enough attention to their own heart health, you'll be thrilled and delighted because this simple method I will share with you is something even the most stubborn, pig-headed spouse will agree to, because it's so easy and the rewards are so great. It's become my mission in life to spread the word about how simple it is to protect or restore your heart. And in this presentation, I'm going to share a dozen stories of real people who have received the same life-saving program and who credit it with saving their lives. But first, I want to tell you about the one man whose life I couldn't save. My father. I was 24 years old, just out of school, when he had his heart attack. We had no indication it was coming. His doctors had missed all the signs. He had normal cholesterol, only slightly higher than normal blood pressure, but on the inside he was falling apart. During his emergency surgery, the doctor discovered his arteries were so clogged they couldn't fit the catheter through. He was a ticking time bomb, and nobody knew it. 3 days after the heart attack, my dad passed away. And that's the day that I started this mission. I spent the next 3 decades digging through studies, interviewing the most cutting-edge medical researchers. I even worked with Nobel Prize winner Dr. Linus Pauling, all for one purpose: to find the real cause of heart disease and to find a permanent cure. I'm proud to report I've found both, and it's transforming lives. Many of my patients have emerged from a life of poor health and constant worry to regain a vigorous and active role in the lives of family and friends. They're out of their beds and back to long walks, or jogging, working in the garden, playing with the grandkids, enjoying a round of golf, and all the other things that make life worthwhile. I'm talking about my patients like Dennis Boxell, who told me, "I had bypass surgery, which left me with no strength, and I started getting panic attacks and nightmares. It was so bad that I didn't want to leave the house. I barely made it to the mailbox. I didn't think the program would help. Well, let me tell you, it's been a miracle. I'm out of the house with more energy and going to a dance camp. My anxiety is gone. No more nightmares, and my strength has returned. Now that's the kind of transformational story I live for. And now, it's your turn to regain your heart health or keep it out of harm's way for good. It's almost effortless when you follow my proven program, the 3-Step Heart Cure. This is a deceptively simple plan that in less than 2 months could help lower your blood pressure by up to 40% without drugs, clear out clogged arteries without stents or surgery, and using natural tricks most people have never heard of, totally eliminate your worries about the cholesterol, triglyceride, and inflammation numbers your doctor is holding over your head. In other words, in as little as 60 days, my 3-Step Heart Cure program could restore your heart to near perfect health. And this plan works no matter how sick and tired your heart is right now. It will change your life. It did for Richard Jones. His wife Laura wrote me to tell me about the transformation she's seen. She says, "I watched as my husband Richard was dying from congestive heart failure. Before starting the program, my husband only slept 2 to 3 hours a day and had difficulty breathing. He could not walk more than a few feet and had to go to the hospital to be put on life support systems on a regular basis. Since starting, within 1 week he now sleeps 8 hours a day, breathes better, gurgling in his lungs has almost stopped, can walk around the house when before he could barely get out of the chair. Most of his problems have been minimized. This has been a miracle right before my eyes." It also worked for Faoud Hamati of Los Angeles, who says, "I'm 45 years old. I had very bad chest pains and went to the hospital. Doctors told me I had a heart attack. They did an angiogram and said I had a blocked artery. I did not want the bypass surgery. Then, by a miracle, a doctor recommended Dr. Pilgreen's program. After 6 months, I feel great, walk 2 miles a day, and have no chest pain." And even established medical doctors are thrilled with the program. Gelda Adarmi, MD, says, "This is cutting-edge information. If you want to know what to take and why with all the supporting documentation, this is a must. Not only do I recommend this program to all my patients, I follow it myself, and I put my mother on it." And Dr. Richard Bulbuck says, "This new research is eye-opening and encouraging. The recommendations are simple to follow and effective. I like that it's a complete and effective program." Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you the 3 critical tests you must get to determine your risk of a heart attack or stroke. Then I'm going to show you all 3 steps of my program and all the critical research behind it. And of course, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do to eliminate your fear of a heart attack for good. But before I do, there's an unpleasant reality that we have to get out of the way. Mainstream medicine hates this program. The science I'm showing you today flies in the face of what the carefully crafted studies they allow you to see are supposed to make you believe. Now, I don't know your doctor. You might have one of the good ones. But for the vast majority of folks, the doctor-patient relationship isn't top priority anymore. It's a distant second place to the doctor-drug company relationship. In fact, it's gotten so bad that it seems the prevailing attitude is, drug first, ask questions later. Sound like an exaggeration? I wish it were. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in. Here's a clear example. This is a true story. An exam at a teaching hospital in Florida revealed a 70% coronary artery blockage in a 57-year-old man with normal cholesterol levels. We'll call him Peter. 100 cardiologists in training were asked how they would treat him. Almost every single doctor in the room began by recommending cholesterol-lowering drugs, despite the fact that the chart in front of them said he had normal cholesterol numbers. Why on earth would they do that? Because the giant pharmaceutical companies start brainwashing doctors as soon as they get to medical school. Their knee-jerk reaction when they hear heart disease is to prescribe cholesterol-lowering drugs. In fact, some doctors in England have called on the government to mandate statins, the most common type of cholesterol-lowering drug, for everyone over 50. They went so far as to suggest putting them in the water supply. This is Big Pharma's dream. These drugs already pull in an estimated $26 billion a year in revenue. That number would double if they had their way. But the truth is, just because we have a drug that can lower cholesterol doesn't mean we need to lower cholesterol. The truth is, cholesterol is not the enemy some doctors have made it out to be. Here are two numbers that may shock you. 50% of people who suffer heart attacks have normal cholesterol levels. And more than 50% of people with high cholesterol never suffer a heart attack. Study after study has proven that your general cholesterol numbers are totally irrelevant. So, back to Peter, our 57-year-old man with the 70% blockage. His heart was in serious trouble, no doubt about it. Yet a room full of doctors was recommending a treatment for a problem he didn't even have. Lucky for him, the doctor running the lecture was familiar with the science you'll discover in step 1 of my program. You see, while cholesterol may be irrelevant, there are some numbers you really need to find out. So we always start with the 3 tests that could save your life. 3 simple tests. You might want to write these down. They're generally covered by your insurance or Medicare. If you don't have insurance, they'll cost you less than $50 at a walk-in clinic. Okay, here's what you need to have tested. First is something called lipoprotein A, or LPA. In fact, with Peter, when all the tests were in, the only risk factor he displayed was a critically elevated LPA level. Every one of the 100 cardiologists saw that number, and all of them ignored it. That's because high LPA can't be treated with a drug. The only way to lower this critical risk factor is with a 10-cent a day home remedy. In the 3-step heart cure program, I show you the essential research behind this technique, plus why your doctor probably won't recommend it, even though he knows he should. The second test that could save your life is for homocysteine levels. The National Institute of Health lists no less than 987 studies on the effects of homocysteines, a type of amino acid, on human health. And the scientific consensus is in. Once your homocysteine levels reach a certain point, you're a heart attack waiting to happen. So if this is such a thoroughly researched topic, why aren't doctors shouting it from the rooftops? Simple. There are no drugs that lower homocysteines. But in Module 1 of the 3-step heart cure, I'll show you how you can bring them 100% back to normal with a combination of 2 basic vitamins. In fact, in 1998, Harvard researchers discovered that by doubling the government's recommended daily allowance of these vitamins, you can cut your risk of heart attack in half. Cut it in half! I'm constantly shocked that doctors refuse to tell their patients about these studies. In fact, many have recently recommended against it. In Module 1, I'll show you this totally natural but incredibly powerful solution. Now, I've been pretty critical of mainstream medicine so far, but I do have to give them a smidgen of credit. They're finally starting to come around on the 3rd test that could save your life. That is high-sensitive C-reactive protein, or hsCRP. The American Heart Association recently issued a statement saying that the risk of having a heart attack for people with high hsCRP has been demonstrated to be twice that of people with lower hsCRP. Now, why is this important? Because hsCRP is a marker of inflammation, and chronic inflammation, the kind that these high levels of hsCRP indicate, are a recipe for massive arterial and cardiac damage. It means your body is literally tearing itself apart inside. That's what the American Heart Association will tell you. What they haven't yet started telling people is that you can wipe this inflammation out and bring your hsCRP levels down by 30% just by eating a handful of certain types of seeds. That 30% reduction makes an enormous difference to your overall health. Because the American Academy of Neurology showed that what's in these seeds could reduce your risk of stroke by 53% and your risk of developing Alzheimer's by an incredible 70%. That's just one example of what you can do if your hsCRP levels come back elevated. The first step, labeled as Module 1 in the 3-step heart cure program, is all about these 3 tests, where you can get them, and totally natural steps to take if any of them come back elevated. But that's not all. In your first module, I'll also show you dozens of other incredible nutrients that can practically eliminate your risk of a heart attack. For example, I'll show you the results of a 10-year, 40,000-person study published, then ignored, in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The study found a significant 24% reduction in cardiovascular death for participants from a nutrient found in the type of unhealthy foods you've been told not to eat. Yet because it wasn't a drug, they concluded that doctors didn't need to recommend it. The unpublicized method that an 11,000 women study at Harvard showed it could reduce heart disease by 37% and slash your risk of stroke by 69%. That was without diet or exercise. According to one ACC study, if you have certain risk factors, there's an incredibly simple, natural trick that can reduce your risk of heart attack by 300%. In 2000, researchers really hit the jackpot. They published their research in the American Journal of Hypertension. It turns out that a combination of 3 all-natural nutrients can stop plaque buildup. They showed this works even when traditional treatments have failed. Of course, it takes more than just a few tricks like these to really build a healthy heart. The purpose of Module 1, that first step, is just to get you out of the woods. We want to discover your risk, stop the progression. Then start lowering your blood pressure, clearing out those arteries naturally, and begin to wean you off any medication you may be taking. When you're out of the danger zone, that's when we really get down to business. To have heart health that lasts, we need to talk about the D word. I'm talking about your diet. That's what I cover in Module 2 of the 3-Step Heart Cure. And I have some very good news. You shouldn't change more than 10% of your diet. No, I'm not kidding. The truth is, if you're like most people who are at least semi-conscious of what you eat, you only need to make small adjustments to your diet. Here's the thing. You can lose weight on any diet if that's your goal. They literally all work. But a radical lifestyle change isn't something you can keep up forever. And when your diet is inconsistent, you put your heart at risk. But don't worry. The science says you only need to make a few adjustments anyway. No radical change required. Most of the diet fads aren't backed up by anything but opinion. For example, did you know that the low-fat diet has consistently been proven not to work? A 2001 article in the British Medical Journal showed that a low-fat diet didn't reduce the risk of cancer or heart disease a single percentage point. And in 2010, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition analyzed 21 studies on over 348,000 adults. They couldn't find a single shred of evidence linking fat to heart attacks. But what about the carb-based diets? Well, there are problems with both the high-carb and low-carb crazes. Too many refined carbohydrates in your diet is certainly dangerous. These carbs are quickly broken down into sugar, which causes an insulin spike in your blood. Too much insulin quickly packs on fat, and if your insulin is out of control for too long, it can lead directly to diabetes and heart disease. But too few carbohydrates can be equally as bad for you. Too much protein without the carbohydrates can put stress on your kidneys. Plus, the excess acidity can cause bone loss. So where is the happy medium? Well, Module 2 of the 3-Step Heart Cure has you covered. You'll discover how to prepare your favorite pasta dishes so they don't cause the same insulin overreaction. This simple trick should be in every pasta lover's recipe books. The type of food that a French study in the journal Circulation showed can reduce the risk of heart attack by 70%. Most of the benefits come from one type of food added to your meals just twice a week. The sugary food that you're not eating enough of. Get more of this natural wonder and you can reduce your risk of more than 5 life-altering diseases. That includes cancer and heart disease. 4 baby steps you can use to painlessly transition to a healthy diet. Use these tricks and healthy eating will be effortless. The salad dressing recipe that drops your blood pressure by 8 points. This may be the Greek secret to some of the world's best heart health. Plus, like most Greek food, it's delicious. Your second toxic diet that you don't even know you're ingesting, and the best way to purge it from your body. A diet that heals your heart shouldn't be difficult to keep. After all, it's the diet that nature intended us to follow. You'll still be enjoying your favorite foods in sizable portions without losing the delicious treats that make life enjoyable. The plan I lay out in Module 2 will simply show you how to eat with a better strategy. That's why the diet changes I outline in this program are so easy to implement. But there's a third and final pillar in the healthy heart formula. You've probably guessed it. Exercise. Don't panic, because the latest research has some very good news. You shouldn't exercise more than 12 minutes a day, 3 days a week. I know that most doctors recommend 40 minutes of cardio a day. God bless you if you have the time or patience for that. But the real exercise science shows that type of cardio is actually bad for your heart. 12 minutes is all it takes to start, and even at an advanced level, it won't take you more than 22 minutes. Look, there's no use training like a pro athlete unless you are a pro athlete. What you need to do instead is to build your heart's reserve capacity. That's your heart's ability to pump extra blood at a moment's notice. How many heart attacks have been caused by some physical activity someone thought they could handle? Shoveling snow, pushing a broken down car, playing a game of pickup basketball. You've probably even heard rumors of people having a heart attack after sex. Those are activities that everyone at every age should be able to handle without risking a heart attack. But if your heart doesn't have reserve capacity, you put your life at risk just walking out the door. The secret to building reserve capacity is interval training. This was shown in a Harvard study published by the American Heart Association. As they expected, doctors found that of the 7,307 people they studied, those who exercised had a lower risk of heart disease. But they were surprised to discover that those who practiced interval training had the healthiest hearts in the group. I don't know what your current level of fitness is, but in Module 3 of my 3-Step Heart Cure, I have you covered. I give you 3 different interval programs, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And you can customize these programs as much or as little as you need to. The important thing is to do something, no matter how simple it seems. It will improve your heart's health. Do these simple changes really save lives? I truly believe they saved mine. I started to study heart disease because of my father's heart attack. But the truth is, my own life was on the line as well. And at the time I was overweight with high blood pressure, high hsCRP, and critical LPA levels. If I didn't do something, there was no way I'd live to see 60, and I would be leaving behind a wife and 2 kids who depended on me. So I began to make these changes in my own life. I started implementing the simple tricks I discovered for lowering LPA, hsCRP, and blood pressure. I made small adjustments in my diet, and I started exercising lightly a few times a week. The difference in my energy and fitness between now and when I first began is like night and day. And my tests prove that I'm fundamentally healthier. My blood pressure has dropped 15 points. My resting heart rate is down to 64, and my CRP, LPA, and homocysteine levels are back to completely normal. That's why I've shared this program with so many people, and it changes their lives too. Like Martha Lewis of Las Vegas, Nevada. She says, 3 years ago I had bypass surgery, and that was one terrible experience. I was still not my old self 2 years after the surgery. I had absolutely no energy. I was always on the go prior to the operation, and now I could barely walk my dog. After I started the program, in 1 month I was back to my old self. My doctor even stopped my diabetes medication because I had improved so much. And Hans Venor of Germany says, my doctors have treated me for the last 10 years for heart problems. I take over 5 medications. I really didn't feel better, and I didn't like the side effects of the drugs. I have been on the program for 12 months. I have been able to stop most of my medications, and I can do a lot of things I had given up on. These aren't exceptions to the rule. This is what is really possible when you follow a scientifically proven formula for heart health. What's more, a lot of people who start the program for heart health see a variety of other conditions just go away. Like Jose Pelayo's from LA, who says, my blood pressure had returned to normal for the first time in 6 months after starting the program. And Jeanette Bond says, I feel like a kid again. I have more energy, and my blood sugar has dropped from 134 to 101. My medical doctor recommended Dr. Pilgreen's program. So you may be wondering, how does this program work? It's an excellent question. And I think you'll find it's unlike anything you've come across before. You see, I've built a state-of-the-art, comprehensive online course on restoring your heart to perfect health. The course is made up of 3 modules consisting of a total of 12 videos, 14 downloadable worksheets, and 12 MP3 audio downloads. In the introduction video, I'll show you exactly how to navigate the program. And this can be done at whatever pace you want. If you're looking for just the bottom line, the what do I have to do to stop a heart attack today information, just click on the Critical Elements tab, and you can easily navigate this course in a single afternoon. Then, if problems pop up in your own life or in the life of a loved one, you can use our easy navigation or search tools and have a natural, scientifically proven, effective solution in just minutes. On the other hand, if you're the type of person who wants to go deep right from the beginning, if you want to really understand the core causes of heart disease and how to build a nearly indestructible heart, you can follow the full course, from the first section of Module 1 to the last section of Module 3. And by the end, you'll know more about reviving your heart than most cardiologists. Plus, you can access the information in any format you choose. You'll be able to download the audio of each section if you want to listen while you're in the car or at the gym, and you'll have access to a written transcript of each if you'd prefer to sit down and read them all. On top of that, all this information is stored online on a website you can access 24/7 from any desktop, laptop, or mobile device. This course represents more than 30 years of study and refining. It's my life's work. There's nothing like it anywhere online or in print. So how much do you think that a heart attack-proof heart like that is worth? Of course, you can't really put a price on the peace of mind that comes from knowing your heart is protected, that you and your spouse don't have to fear losing each other to a sudden heart attack. But if you follow all 3 simple steps I've laid out in this program, there is a monetary benefit. Because if you have a heart attack and survive, well, I'm sorry to say you're just living to pay the medical bills. CBS News reported that the cost of a major heart attack between hospital bills, doctors, and medication, along with the indirect costs of lost time and productivity, add up to about $1 million per heart attack. You're on the hook for whatever your insurance won't cover, which is why I believe I could charge $499 a year for access to the incredible resources I've put together. Certainly anyone who could afford it would pay that much as a yearly insurance policy against having a heart attack. It's a no-brainer. However, I know a lot of folks would struggle to find $499, even if their life depended on it. And I believe this is a program that could save your life. Just imagine, if they hadn't taken action and implemented this program, these lives may have been lost. My father-in-law, Alex Kovacs, has so many health problems, it's hard to keep track. He has heart problems and diabetes, along with macular degeneration. The drug they gave him caused an autoimmune disorder. We started the program, and now he can sleep for the first time in 2 years. Lisa Chan and Alex Kovacs, Granite City, Illinois. Richard has had quadruple bypass surgery and has congestive heart failure and diabetes. Since starting the program, he has more energy, looks better, his color is back. The nurses at the cardiac rehab unit can't believe how much better he is. He used to be on oxygen, but he rarely needs it now. Thanks so much. Sharon and Richard Moody, Tustin, California. So for my conscience sake, I'm going to charge radically less than $499. In fact, I'm offering lifetime access to this program, the 3-Step Heart Cure, for a one-time payment of only $49. Now that's not even a quarter of what I charge for a one-on-one consultation. Heck, some folks tell me they saved more than that every month with all the prescription drugs they were able to drop. And since this is your life on the line, I want to do everything I can to make sure you're healthy and able to stick around for years and decades to come. Which is why I'm going to include a special gift, absolutely free with your purchase today. It's a special additional module called the Emergency Protocol. After years of seeing my patients strong-armed and bullied by doctors into stents and emergency bypass surgeries, I developed this as my standard protocol for folks worried about their heart. Because even if your arteries are as clogged as rusty pipes, this emergency protocol could walk you back from the brink of a massive cardiac event, and while the whole protocol takes 12 to 14 days to complete, it starts working immediately. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology has shown that this protocol almost instantly knocks your LDL, what docs call bad cholesterol, by 25%. It slashes your triglycerides by 25%, and it reduces your risk of a heart attack by 27%. And it only takes about 2 minutes every day for 2 weeks. You'll receive the module containing this protocol in the same format as the 3-Step Heart Cure. For the most comprehensive version, I'll walk you through the material in a special video course. Then I'll give you the step-by-step guide you can download and take anywhere. And you'll also have instant access to an MP3 of the recording, so you can listen to it anytime, anywhere. Normally, this online module sells for $97, and since it could literally prevent a heart attack that's about to happen, it's worth far more than that. But today, it's yours free as my gift. And that's not all. In addition to the 3-step heart cure and the emergency protocol, I'm going to include one more gift at no cost to you. Because the frightening fact is, nearly 1 in 3 people in the United States suffers from high blood pressure. In fact, 19% of women die due to problems related to high blood pressure. The reality is your blood pressure is one of the easiest things to fix, and unless your BP is well over 200, you don't need medication. Instead, there are totally natural fixes that can dramatically lower your blood pressure and slash your odds of heart attack or stroke by as much as 75% in just 2 weeks. And I'll show you how in my program, Conquering the Silent Killer. In this express course, you'll discover why, contrary to mainstream opinion, adding more salt in your diet can dramatically lower your blood pressure. But don't stock up on everyday table salt just yet. There's an easier and healthier way to get more sodium. How adding a few sprinkles of a common flavoring ingredient to your food can actually relax your blood vessels by 72%. The infamous dessert food that can lower your blood pressure 15 points in 15 days. How acting more like a toddler could save your life. And much more. This is very powerful advice that's been proven to work in my own patients. Kathleen Descardenas told me, "My blood pressure has dropped 20 points in 1 month on this regimen. I really feel the difference and I have more energy now." And Connie Sakawaya says, "My husband had blood pressure of 180. With this program, we were able to wean him off his medication and his blood pressure dropped 40 points. This program is amazing." Now, normally this program costs $97 on its own. But again, I want to ensure you get the results I've promised. I want to make sure you get the improved energy, an improved mood, and a heart that you know will run smoothly and strong for the rest of your days. So I'm including it with this program 100% free of charge. All of this, the 3-step heart cure, the emergency protocol, and Conquering the Silent Killer, a total value of $693, are yours for a one-time payment of only $49. You can click the button below this video to claim your program anytime. Before you do, I want to tell you about 2 measures I've put in place for your protection. First, I want you to know that I stand by this course 100%. If you decide to test out my program and it doesn't provide the kind of results I've talked about today, if you don't experience more energy, improved blood pressure, better blood sugar numbers, or if you don't see a significant improvement in any of the 3 tests I recommend, LPA, homocysteines, and CRP levels, if any one of these numbers I've talked about doesn't improve, and if you're not happy for any reason, I don't want to keep a penny of your money. If you'd like to cancel for any reason at all, you can simply call or email me at any time in the first 60 days, and I'll give you a full refund of your money. No questions asked, no explanation needed. That's how confident I am in this program. Why? Because I've seen it work over and over again. And I want to make sure there's absolutely no risk to you. So don't hesitate another minute. Click the button below this video to get started today. Thanks for watching. God bless.